is that? Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships with the Hive Hound. And at the request of a buddy of mine and someone I've spent, I've known through the game for quite some time, I've been requested to make a video, and actually it makes sense. And it's not so much, well, obviously it's game related, but it's a little bit of a different video. And basically, I spend quite a bit of time interacting with people on Facebook, and a lot of the time it's just ignorant nonsense. You explain something to someone and they just ignore you. So I figured what we could do is to have a bit of fun with it instead of me trying to explain the game mechanics to people who aren't interested and don't want to listen. We can have a little fun and maybe give a Potato of the Week award. So this will be the first video in this series. I'll put up a community poll and we'll name them accordingly, and then we'll go from there. And next week's video, we'll give our first Potato of the Week award through the wonderful world of Facebook. So, first guy, stay out of cap guy, we're going to call him. I thought it was common knowledge, but I guess not. Stay out of the cap if you're taking fire. That's all. What? Absolutely stupid remark, because if there's more... for a start, if you're in the cap, you know that, I hope everyone here at least understands that doesn't matter what game mode you are, caps make points. If you're sitting in the enemy cap and you're getting shot at, it's still an advantage to your team because they stop gaining points because that cap's contested. It doesn't matter. Secondly, if you're not the only one in the cap and they're firing at you and not firing at the battleship that's behind you in the cap, or not hunting down the DD that's in the cap because they don't want to push up on you, then the cap points still go up. Okay, your cap points will go up, but you're a perfectly fine distraction for the enemy team. And if you're distracting them whilst your destroyer or another ship is gaining cap points, then it's an advantage. It is. So yeah, you don't understand the concept of the game. If you're 12 points behind, you can sit in an enemy cap, even if it's for like 20 seconds whilst you sail away and run off. Every like couple of seconds you gain 3 points from owning a cap, then all of a sudden you can very quickly turn a loss into a win. So congratulations. So is this going to be our Potato of the Week, Mr. Stay Out of the Cap? Right, let's go on to number 2. This one is brilliant, and it's something that I recently posted a video about, and I don't know whether this might require a Darwin award rather than a Potato award. So why is almost all PS players why is every or almost all PS players so bad? Mostly likely found at the back of the map, protect themselves, not doing anything unless hiding behind an island, or uselessly hiding behind an island, and most likely ignoring their teammates, and obviously probably not having a clue how to play. Yes, it's fun playing with you guys, especially in events where you see the most ignorant of them all. Just saying. So he's calling PlayStation players ignorant, saying all PlayStation players are bad, whilst making about the most ignorant statement anyone has ever made in this. In terms of, like, I don't think he understands the irony of being incredibly ignorant whilst calling everyone else ignorant. This is just a dumb statement. There's good, there's bad players on both consoles. Go over on PC. There are terrible players on PC. There are really good players on PC. Doesn't matter. And this whole console wars thing it's just stupid. Now, I have explained this before, that there are twice, if not a little bit more, double the amount of players on PlayStation. So yeah, you're more likely to see a potato on PlayStation just because of pure number values in the game. But you're also twice as likely to see a PlayStation player do decent or do well just because there's more. It's not an attack against the Xbox. It's a free to play game. PlayStation outsold Xbox by a stupid amount, so just ratios of more people on PlayStation than Xbox. In general, free to play game, you're going to get more people. If 1% of the PlayStation and Xbox owners download World of Warships, the PlayStation numbers are just going to be higher. And to try and state like because someone picked a console that dictates how good they are in the game, well, that's just dumb. I am obviously gonna have to block these people's names out and stuff, and maybe block out some of the bad words that we're gonna see coming up, because YouTube, I don't want to get in trouble. Right, I am peed off of tier 6 being in matches with tier 7s. It's just unfair. World of Warships matchmaking. What? Is it unfair? Really? Is it fair if you're in a tier 6 and you come against tier 5s? Is it fair for them? Do you only want to play against a really limited number of ships? Because, each tier only have a certain amount of ships in them. So, I don't know. I'm just guessing, what is there? There's like 280 ships in the game. And if you split them up between tiers, there's what, like 30 or 40 ships per tier? Do you really just want to be playing against the same 30 or 40 ships as you're grinding out? Do you get mad when you're in a tier 5 and you're playing against a bunch of tier 4s? Like, no one's ever done that. And who doesn't like a challenge? Yes, like if you'd said tier 7 being matched up against legendaries, you can kind of understand that a bit, because there's a big jump between tier 7 and legendary ships. But a tier 7 can easily destroy a bad legendary player. And it's just we'll call this guy matchmaking guy. I don't think we came up with a name for the last guy, in all fairness, but I'm sure I'll think of something in the post that will make it painfully obvious which one he is. So right, swiftly moving along. Are all Atlanta players chicken crap HE spammers? What? Well, first of all, no. 100% not true. I have a 4-minute 23-second Kraken in Atlanta because the game was full of DDs, and I pushed because, well, the only real threat I've got is DDs, and as soon as I'm spotted, I'm just going to radar them and wreck them, and that's exactly what I did. Atlanta also has torps, it's also quite maneuverable, but in general, like, every single ship has, its usual playstyle. So you're in a ship that's made out of paper and can very easily be one-shot by battleships and by other cruisers, and even can get wrecked pretty quickly by DDs. So the whole point of this ship is to play a supporting role. So this is just ignorant, because the guy clearly doesn't understand how ships work. And if you don't understand how a ship works, it's just going to make dumb, ignorant comments about them. Usually I'd take the time to explain to him, different ships have different roles. The Atlanta has high shell firing arcs, so it's very good at sitting behind an island. It's very good at setting ships on fire. It's also very good at hunting down DDs. And yeah, just another just dumb, ignorant comment from people who are actively engaging in the playbase. So we'll call this Atlanta guy. But here we go. Here's one. I'm assuming this is a troll, but we'll just put it in there because my question for the World of Warships game designers: when are they going to bring aircraft carriers into the game? 29th of October 2021. This was posted. We've had carriers for what? How many months now? I forget, but it's a lot. We had them, we've had them at least 6-7 months now. But yeah, there's carriers in the game. Like, look, they're there. Like, look in the tech trees. They're there. Look, play the game. They're there. So we'll call this guy Carrier Guy, I guess. And I'm looking forward to see the responses and stuff to this. And this one is I'll be honest with you, this one's my favourite. I thought I'd save this one for last. And this one was actually the one that struck up the convo between myself and Duramo about doing this very video right here. So, the so-called 20-second detectability penalty when firing main guns is an effing joke. The fact that Wargaming claims that's implemented in the game is an insult to the intellect of everyone who plays the game. Well, okay, I'm not going to read the whole post. We'll start off with this and we'll break it down one by one as we go through it. So, an insult to the intellect of everyone who plays the game. So basically what this guy's saying is, I'm smart and I should know. And this 20-second detectability penalty when firing a main guns is a joke. Right, okay, so first of all, put this in a context. Everyone knows a ship has a base detectability and a detectability when firing. So, if you fire your guns, the bloom for your detectability extends to the maximum range of the guns, and you're spotted for 20 seconds. Because, you know, even in real-world scenarios, firing guns, causing smoke, sound, noise. Yeah, people are going to notice. People that may not have noticed you before, definitely going to be paying attention when you're firing your guns. And sometimes, like, I don't know, I feel like I've got to see. If I was going to reply to this guy, I feel like I need to explain spotting mechanics, because what's the joke about it? Like, I think he means people going undetected. Well, you're only spotted if someone has direct line of sight on you. Everyone knows this. If you're a DD and someone gets direct line of sight of you and they're within your detectability range, or you fire your guns, you're spotted. And you're spotted until you're out of the line of sight of the person who's spotting you. It's as simple as that, really. You'll notice when you fire your guns, if no one's spotting you, the detectability bloom shrinks almost instantaneously because there is no one to see you firing your guns. So, yeah, just dumb. And to say it's an insult to the intellect of everyone who plays the game, suggesting that this is stupid and doesn't make sense when it's a fairly basic game mechanic. Yeah, right, okay. Moving on, because there's more. And it's a bit of a weird rant and kind of hard to follow, in all fairness. So players put up with way too much crap from Wargaming, including things like misleading information about the game in general. What misleading information about the game in general? If anyone can provide me with some genuine misleading information about the game, cool, I'll call it out. But I've not seen any. Like, what are they telling people that is misleading? Misleading descriptions of premium ships in the store. Really? Like, some of them you could probably argue aren't exactly entirely accurate. You know, but I don't know, it's pretty hard to think of an example, and I'm not going to sit here and look through all 120 ships, but provide some context. The doubloon bundles in store have an increased bonus with the increased size of the bundle, and expect the bundle. Except the bundle that's probably the most frequently bought. What? How's that misleading? So the only bundle that doesn't have any like bonuses is the smallest one. The, what is it, 2,500 doubloons or whatever it is, or 1,700 doubloons, you know, like the $4.99 package. And yeah, no, how's that misleading? It's quite simply, if you're going to spend, and I'm just going to do this for easy maths, $100 on the smallest bundles, you're going to buy a £5 or $7 bundle, or however many times, or you buy the big bundle. If you buy the big bundle, you're going to get an extra 3,500 or extra 6,000 doubloons. But that's not misleading. It's a free-to-play game, and in all fairness, free-to-play games need to make money, and it's just I might not agree with the sales tactic, but it is just a sales tactic. So you look at it and you go, right, okay, well, if I'm going to spend $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever your budget is on the smallest or the second biggest package, but I do that every month, I might as well buy the big one, and that'll last me 6 months, and I get extra doubloons for it. But then you are going to be inclined to spend some more doubloons than you normally would, because you've got a lot more doubloons there. And yeah, it's is it a shady monetization tactic? It's definitely not misleading, that's for sure. But yeah, like and I honestly, I don't really know how to answer that one. It's your money, you do with it what you like. If you want to spend $100 a month, you want to spend $1,000 a month, you don't want to spend anything. The game lets you. No one's forcing you to do anything, and it's certainly not misleading. It's there. It's obvious. It's you get X for X amount of cash. It's as simple as that. And then shells that suddenly magically change direction, effectively not hitting the target, and so on and so on. So you're not aware of dispersion? Like, it's a thing. It comes from real world situations. So to explain why dispersion is a thing, why don't all your shells hit exactly where you fired them? That's pretty well. I say that's pretty obvious. Obviously, it's not. And I did actually engage this guy with a long list of reasons why, and he replied to other people after me, but he didn't reply to me, because people like this want confirmation bias. They're just ignorant, and when people take the time to actually explain things to them, they don't want to know, and it's just something I'm not a massive fan of. So why is dispersion a thing? Why? Okay, so this was World War II. Technology, was still evolving at a really, really rapid pace. So when you fire a gun on a ship, so he's got a picture of the Yamato, that's a prime example. If the Yamato fires a full broadside, that ship's going to move about 20 foot in the opposing direction from the guns. So there's the shockwave. The shockwave's going to hit the 3 surrounding barrels, maybe even the gun, the entire gun, turret next to it, which is going to have an effect because it's a shockwave. Then there's also aerodynamics. As the shell flies through the air, it creates, pressure around it, low pressure at the front, bizarrely, which a lot of people probably don't know of. But around the sides, there's a lot of air pressure. It's going to leave a trail. That's going to push the shells that are traveling right next to it. That's going to affect them, drawing them in or possibly pushing them away, depending on a whole different bunch of factors. There's the blast bags. So I don't know if people know, generally battleships, or any military ship, has or they used to at least, particularly in World War II, particularly large caliber guns, had a 3-stage loading process. British had a 2-stage, but I'm not going to get into the massive details about it, but in general 3-stage. So first thing you do, you actually put in the shell. Second thing you do, you put in a blast bag of cordite. And third stage, you put in a percussion or igniter cap, which lights the cordite and throws the shell down the barrel. So there was different levels of blast bags, depending on how far you were trying to fire. So whether you'd have a full power salvo, so this would be something if you were firing at something at maximum range, or something at really close range where the trajectory is flat and you can cause as much damage as possible. And then the closer you want to aim, you can't fire or if you're trying to lob a shell over an island, you want that shell to drop sooner, so you use a smaller blast bag. So these are big old huge bags of cordite, and the quality of the cordite can make a huge impact. You can have 2 blast bags, equal amounts of cordite in them, but one of them's high quality, one of them's low quality, and you're going to see a massive difference in the range of the two of them. So there's that. It's also the movement of the ship. Oh great. Sitting there staring at it so long, my screen decided to go off. There's the guns. Naval guns weren't accurate. What was it, about 3,000 shells were fired at the Bismarck by the British in that battle, and they recorded about 600 hits. Now, is this because the British can't shoot? I don't know. So I suppose you could very much argue that, but at such close range, without the Bismarck having any ability to retaliate, the British could point their guns directly at the Bismarck, nothing else to worry about, and just fire. So why did these miss? Well, there's things like the rifle in the barrels, the cordite, all these things, as previously mentioned, have a huge effect. And if anything, the game is significantly more relaxed or forgiving with dispersion compared to actual World War II battleships, because you would very unlikely hit multiple shells from a single salvo, purely because of how big the range of dispersion is, because these were all fired rudimentarily. There was maybe some basic optics equipment, particularly on like the earlier ships, and you'd have your gunnery sergeant doing maths. You'd fire a salvo, you go, right, that one was short, right, okay, so we need to raise the guns X amount of degrees, and accuracy was a massive problem, and that's why most nations conducted gunnery drills quite frequently before, obviously, the implementation of radar and computer systems. So the Iowa and the Vanguard are probably 2 really good examples of ships that implemented good radar systems and basic computers to do all the calculations for gunnery. And although I believe it's on a technicality, the Iowa is considered the most battle accurate battleship ever. The test in which the Iowa fired was a single round at a time from each barrel, so you didn't have shockwaves, you didn't have the exiting exhaust gas explosions, the aerodynamic effects of a shell affecting any of else of its guns. I can't remember which American admiral it was when the Vanguard done its sea trials, but there was an American admiral there at the time, and the Vanguard was firing full salvos during its gunnery training, and the American admiral stated quite factually that I have never seen a battleship that accurate ever. So you're talking like, these ships were considered highly accurate, but yet missed a lot. So yeah, dispersion is an actual thing. It's not a randomly, magically changing directions so you don't hit. The RNG mechanic, I know it's annoying when you line up a ship perfectly and you don't absolutely annihilate them, but that's a genuine thing of war. Like, it happens. Like, some guns are more accurate than others. You know, the Germans are a good example in game, at least, of ships that didn't have very good accuracy in the war. So there's an example for bad accuracy, really. So that salvo that the Bismarck fired that sunk the hood, we all know it one-shotted the hood. Bang, destroyed it. Was a lucky shot. I'm not going to go and argue about the details of that. But only one shell hit the hood. All the rest missed. It then continued to fire on the Prince of Wales for, I think the engagement lasted like another 20-30 minutes. Prince of Wales hit the Bismarck multiple times. Damaged its boiler room, damaged its fuel stores, which caused it to turn around. So the Bismarck and the Prince Eugen landed 2 hits on the Prince of Wales. One done slight damage to the deck, but superficial, and the second one hit an auxiliary room, which basically was just a stores. It did nothing. But in 20 minutes, they managed to hit it twice. They managed to hit the hood once. So, yeah, this is just... And the thing that gets me is the fact that Wargaming claims this is implemented into the game is an insult to the intellect of everyone who plays the game, whilst making a bunch of unintelligent statements that do not actually reflect the game. So, anyway, I think I've rabbited on far too long about these. Maybe we'll look at speeding up the format next time. This is my first time. I've never done anything like this before, really. So, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the community tab. I'll link the community post to this video and vote for Potato of the Week. And, as always, until next time, take care.